think we must undo to give them a corporate image so that they can be sued, and then they can also sue, and those judgments can be executed. And so for us to do that, it's a long road ahead of us, but ultimately it is also the ministry that houses the decentralization policy where people can now govern themselves. You heard the president speak about how he intends the constituency development fund to first be broadened, and once it's broadened and it gets to the district, and then it means that people are going to get closer to one, the decision making, and two, to the application of the natural resources, the financial resources that the country is endowed with. I am here to settle down. I'm going to report at the office as soon as possible time, subject to what our permanent secretary advises. We're going to have to go through induction. We're going to have to go through introductions to know the people who are there, the directors, to face what challenges they had, and obviously to culminate into maybe assembling all the council of mayors and council town chairpersons, the council secretaries, to one common place from all around the country in order to appreciate the type of challenges that they've been having. And so, clearly speaking, to answer your question in one straight shot, which is a big challenge for me, but I think I'm up to the task. And I'm glad to...
So I'm going to bring them again.
Now I've grown taller than you. Yes. Congratulations. It's your life of pride.
I don't know why you're apologizing. People have used the channel language in a Constance, relax. If somebody's giving you crap, it's crap.
All right, so finally it is done and dusted in terms of the appointment of cabinet ministers here at State House on State House grounds, where I am standing, as you can see right now. And behind is a huge number of people that came to witness the swearing-in ceremony of different, ministers alongside provincial ministers. And of course, I should make mention that there are various personalities here, politicians, business members of CSOs, as well as business communities leaders are also here to ensure that they witness the swearing-in ceremony of course, the people that are going to work alongside President Hakainde Hichilema from now up to 2026, when we are going to have another general elections. So, of course, later on, we will be able to subject you to various reactions coming from different stakeholders or eyewitnesses that came to be part and parcel of this great and very landmark ceremony here at State House, on State House ground. My name is Innocent Phiri, of course. Allow me just to begin to engage in a few people that, of course, I will be joining in a moment. We're just waiting for some stakeholders who have invited to be able to give you their reactions as far as the cabinet ministers are concerned. Now, let me just take you through some of the names that have been actually lucky to be appointed today as cabinet ministers. I know that one of the very common name is that of Gary Nkombo, who has been appointed as a Minister of Local Government. And also, number 2 there, I have Rodney Mubanga MP, Minister, the Minister of Tourism and Arts. Another name there, very interesting name, is Elias, I beg your pardon there. Elias Mubanga, rather. All right. So Rodney Sikumba MP is a Minister of Tourism and Arts. Just a correction on that one. And wow, we've got Elias Mubanga MP, Minister, the Minister of Small, Medium and Enterprises. This basically happened to be a new ministry that has been created by President Hakainde Hichilema. Remember that he was trying by all means to realign and also create new ministries that are going to be subjected to members of parliament in the National Assembly to ratify, because according to the Constitution of Zambia, when you establish, or when a Republican president establishes a new or create a new ministry, there will be need for members of parliament to be able to engage in, of course, members of parliament to ratification. Let me just engage now, Honorable Kapelwa Mbangweta, one of the very famous and very prominent politician in Zambia, member of parliament who just retained his seat. Of course, let's find out how he's received this appointment, him being a provincial minister for Northwestern. Honorable, welcome to this interview, and you're live on Movie TV.
Thank you very much. It's actually Western Province. We have received it as a challenge. Western Province has a number of challenges. We are the poorest province in the country, and so it means that the thing we're complaining about, now we have the opportunity to put things right. Okay? The major issues have been the roads. The Sakamong Road, the bridge in the Kafue National Park, Katunda Lukulu, Livingston Sesheke Road, and the Kasempa Kaoma. Okay? Now, under this government, there are 3 of us who are affected by those 3 issues I've talked about. Infrastructure is under Honorable Milupi. He comes from there. Finance under Honorable Sumekom Sokoto, and he comes from there. So if the 3 of us will fail to fix any of those projects over our time, then definitely we have no recourse or reason to complain, because now we have been given the opportunity. Of course, there are other issues or challenges which the previous administration had created in a sense, but failed to address. My constituency has a bomber in Nkeyema, but that bomber is still in the soil because no houses, no offices have been built over the period. We have the similar situation in Mitete, similar situation in Monga for Luena. Okay? Then we had pronouncements which were made to do with the stadium, to do with the university, the King Luanika. It does not look very well that the universities which were pronounced with this at the same time with the King Luanika, they have now opened. Our place is still in the bush. That is not sitting very well. Of course, we have issues to do with the daily routine of life, like water and sanitation in a number of our areas. We need to upscale that. The issues to do with the unemployment need to be addressed. So it means that we need to bring industries there which can create employment. One way to do it is to make sure that the products which we produce, like rice, like timber, they are processed that side instead of being taken away, processed somewhere else, and they are brought back as finished product. That does not create employment. So those are some of our challenges which we need to look at. And of course, we need to have, for me at least, a mindset, a mindset change. Because before, we used to complain, that this government is not doing this, is not doing the other. But now, even the people expect us to fix all those issues we used to complain about. And that means then that our responsibility now is on us.
Right. All right, thank you so much, Honorable, and allow me to wish you the best, and thank you so much. Congratulations for returning your seat.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity to speak.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great. So just from speaking to newly appointed Minister for Western Province, Honorable Kapelwa Mbangweta, who happens to be, of course, a member of Parliament for Nkeyema constituency. We get further reactions from the stakeholders or here on State House grounds here in Lusaka, for those that are watching us across the borders of Zambia. Let me just engage in another stakeholder from the alliance partner of the UPND, and is coming from the Republican Progressive Party. He happens to be the SG, and of course, let's engage one of the very prominent faces, not strange on movie TV screen, has been there actually. Akapelwa is here to just add on his views regarding what has just taken place here at State House. Mr. Akapelwa, please step forward. Good afternoon and welcome to this interview live on movie TV. Good afternoon. Great. You've been part and parcel of this set of swearing in ceremony from yesterday until where we are today. What would be your voice regarding the completion of HH's cabinet ministers alongside provincial ministers?
Well, I think it's a complete set. I think they're long awaited for cabinet appointments, and I think the citizens of this country now are so thirsty and are waiting for deliverables. Yeah. And I think the president has been very categorical in his statement. I think these appointments should not excite the ministers as individuals that were involved in the campaigns. I think the expectations of the Zambian people, the fact that cabinet now is in force. So we await Parliament to open on Friday, and obviously that's when now we start flagging off the policies and quoting from the UPND manifesto. I think the expectations of the Zambian people is quite huge, and the mantle now is incumbent on the ministers to deliver, because you see this country has gone through a lot of problems, economic trouble, political troubles, and I think it's a healing process that we have to undergo. Insofar, I think the president has demonstrated that peace is imminent, because we are divided as Zambians, and I think he's been a unifier. Insofar, we can see that people are at peace, people are trading freely, people are moving freely, you are able to put on any sort of regalia of your choice. This is what we wanted to see. So the divisiveness that the PF regime had planted in the Zambian people, I think it's a process that we have to now heal and begin afresh. I think the president has been very categorical, and we want to thank him for having given us merited the appointments. I think that is good enough for the country.
I know that as RPP, you are, of course, a member of the UPND Alliance. What does it demonstrate? We saw yesterday Bali going further to appoint Felix Nkulukusa as one of the cabinet ministers, as well as Honorable Charles Milupi coming from the ADD. What does this demonstrate in incorporating people from the opposition UPND Alliance?
I think it's one statement, unifying the country. And he's been talking about this since inception. I think his core value is quickly to unify the country. And that's a process of healing. And we were divided for a long time. And as alliance partners, we are very excited, that I must say, because then, and I know for sure that the president hasn't ended there, because if you look at the number of alliance comrades that are in the UPND Alliance, there are quite a number. And I'm sure he's going further. This is just a litmus test to demonstrate that he's able to fulfill his promises as put across from the inception. So we await for more appointments from the Alliance, and this is a process of unifying the country, and he's delivered on his promises. And kudos goes to that sort of a situation, and then we expect more from this end.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phiri.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
All the best.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so I'm just from speaking to Mr. Akapelwa there, who happens to be coming from the opposition UPND Alliance, the name of the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, of course, which is being led by Leslie Chikuse as president, who took over from James Lukuku, who of course died last year. So really these are the comments or commentary you are getting from State House here with me, Innocent Phiri. Now let me just go further and of course waste your time to just remind you, in case you just joined us, in terms of those that have been appointed as ministers today or sworn in. I did talk about Elias Mubanga, who happens to be now Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises. This is actually a new ministry that has been created by President Hakainde Hichilema And of course, we also have Honorable Chushi Kasanda, MP, Minister in the Ministry of Information and Media. Remember that the Minister of Information was previously known as Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services, and now it's called Ministry of Information and Media. That's another realignment that has been done by President Hakainde Hichilema. We also have Honorable Collins Nzovu, Nzovu actually, MP, who is now Minister of Green Economy and Environment. Green Economy and Environment. This actually happens to be another realigned ministry, or new ministry if you wish, which again will be subjected to Parliament for ratification in line with the Zambian Constitution, because remember that each time a Republican president decides to create a new ministry, it cannot be go into operation, not until Parliament or parliamentarians decides to ratify through the powers that have been given to them under the legislature or the legislative powers being members of Parliament. Another, of course, a minister here, we've got Makozo Chikote, MP, who happens to be Minister of Livestock and Fisheries. This ministry actually has been there, was actually created under former President Edgar Lungu under the PF. We also have Honorable Chanda Kabuswe, MP, who happens to be Minister of Mines and Minerals. Chanda Kabuswe actually is coming from Chililawombwe. I want to believe is the one that took over Chililawombwe constituents, that which was once being presided by Richard Musukwa. Coincidentally, I should make mention that Richard Musukwa was Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, and the predecessor who was just taken over has also been appointed as, in the same capacity as Minister of Mines and Minerals. All right. Moving further, we also have, Mtolo Phiri, now who happens to be Minister of Agriculture. Mtolo Phiri is now Minister of Agriculture, of course, taking over from Michael Katambo, who was previously holding that ministerial position as Agriculture Minister. Now it's gone to Mtolo Phiri, a very experienced man, very known politician in Zambia. So these are the changes that have been made so far, in as far as the appointments are concerned. We also have another young man by the name of Chipoka Mulenga, who is now in the Ministry of Commerce, or Minister of Commerce and Trade. Chipoka Mulenga is a well-known politician in Zambia because he did work with the NDC. Some of you remember him, but of course, in his smartness, he decided to, dive away, and he went somewhere else, where, of course, he is now a member of Parliament. And finally, wow, very lucky individual, is now a minister in the cabinet of President Hakainde Hichilema under the, of course, I want to believe, the UPND alliance. We also have Honorable Elvis Nkandu, MP, Minister in the Ministry of Youths and Sports. All right, it was the Minister of Youths, Sports and Child Development. It has been realigned, and now it's called Minister of Sports, Minister of Youth and Sports. These are some of the changes that have taken place in as far as the appointments are concerned. I'm trying to go through my notes further in my notebook, and just update to give you further details in terms of the speeches, the pronouncements that have been made by Bari or President HH. So I'll take a walk towards other stakeholders, and that's where. Right, so I'm just closer to Honorable Nkombo, who's having an interview, sideline interview, and I'm sure when he's done, we'll be able to engage him. So I had to tone down my voice because I wouldn't want to disturb other people. And of course, finally, I can amplify it that I'm now joined by one of the prominent faces, not new in Zambian politics, very, I would say, controversial man, and a veteran politician in Zambia, is now in charge of local government ministry. Honorable Nkombo, you are live on Movie TV, and welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much, my dear friend. Thank you very much, viewers. Good afternoon.
All right. Wow. What hope are you giving to the people of Zambia with regards to the new position you have now as a minister?
Well, I think that it should be known by everyone that it can never be an individual effort. It's a collective effort. We have a cabinet that has been put in place. We are going to look and brainstorm at all the challenges that have been, facing our ministry, tapping from those who have been there before, to learn what challenges they had, to be able to understand and try to find solutions as to how we can reverse those issues that make certain laws become dysfunctional, such as the Markets and Bus Station Act. We know very well that they stopped working, they stopped functioning. Was it a man-made affair or was it beyond human control? Those are the things that when we settle down, when we are inducted, when we introduced the people that matter in the ministry, that we can sit together as a team and try to see what is broken and what is not, and try to focus on what is broken in order to fix it.
You've been in politics for so many years now, and some people have described you as a man of action, very pragmatic, very open. What are those things, one or two things you want to change, to amend, to correct?
Well, some of the things have well been done already. Just by the change of the administration, you have seen that order has returned. And also I'm saying if it's not fixed the broken, we don't fix it. There are so many things that we are going to learn along the way, how to deal with them. And so for now, I will not give you an open check because I may be overcommitting myself. But one thing for a fact is that we are going to rely on the existing laws that govern us and try to apply them the best possible way. Where the laws are not applicable, we're going to go towards amending them, repealing them, and bringing in new laws in order for society to benefit from those same laws. Because don't forget, laws are made for man to function in a much more smoother way, and they're not supposed to be an impediment to their improvement in their social setting.
I'll draw your attention regarding the huge, allegations of corruption. That is massive corruption. I should make mention. That is, of course, in the construction sector, which, of course, falls under the local government. In the previous administration, we had a lot of contractors complaining, local contractors. How do you hope to harmonize or remedy all these problems, huge problems?
We will cross the bridge when we get there. And as far as I'm concerned, yes, there's a part of it that is under the Ministry of Infrastructure. There's part of it, as you say, which is under the Ministry of Local Government. And I think the test of the pudding is in the eating. Please allow us to get into the ministry to get to understand exactly how the modus operandi has been, whether those allegations of corruption are truly tangible or not. It is give us time to go and settle down, and at an appropriate time we're going to give a comprehensive statement, because at the moment we may be shooting in the air or shooting in the air.
Finally, as you go, Honorable, there's been a lot of demands or complaints from members of the public, marketeers or traders, if you wish, who are being, extorted money by the suspected cadres, be it from the previous PF. There were a lot of complaints.
We have heard that.
Yes.
We have heard that. Yeah. We've read also from the Daily Nation publication of today. Please allow us to settle down. In the transition period, there's a lot of things that happen and people take advantage, even criminality sets in the name of political parties, in the name of presidents, in the name of anything. So allow us to settle down, and we're going to correct what is wrong.
Thank you so much. Allow me to wish you all the best. Pleasure. Thank you. Right. All right, so basically I'm sure that's a face you've been expecting to see on your screen, that of Honorable Nkombo, who is now Minister of Local Government. Of course, has just been sworn in by President Hakainde Hichilema. I'm just trying to go through a little bit of my notes and update you in terms of some of the highlights, speech highlights coming from Bali shortly after swearing in his new ministers. And some of the pronouncement or some of the notable speeches from Bali was actually a warning to all his cabinet ministers not to be in a hurry to begin to operate, because there are some ministers whose ministries have just been realigned, as well as others have just been created. So those whose ministries are new and new ministers altogether, they have to wait a little bit, not until Parliament ratify those ministries, and then they will go on a full throttle to begin to operate. Besides those that of course, whose ministries has been there, they have to start working now, because according to him, time is no longer on his side. Again, he did make sure the issue of consider people's interests before oneself. this has been a very, a message that has been coming from Bali throughout, that when you go into public offices, it's not about saving yourself, but you have to save the people that elected you into office. He also made an emphasis that there will be need for ministers to draw a line or a comparison between the performance of his administration or cabinet to that of the previous administration of the Patriotic Front under President Edgar Lungu. Again, according to him, these appointments have been made under 3 qualities, and some of these qualities I should make mention the issues deal with he was looking for somebody who is a Zambian. If you were a Zambian, or if you were a Zambian, you qualified to be in Bali's cabinet. And also issues of competence has been in his mind always, that if you are capable to perform a certain particular work, then I'm going to appoint you. Again, finally, the third aspect of Bali's qualities or quantities we're looking at was the issue of qualifications. If you qualify, you've got the competence, as well as you are a Zambian, then you would have qualified to be in Bali's administration. Again, further, President Hakainde Hichilema has pledged to immediately fulfill his campaign messages within 1 week or so, once Parliament ratifies all the new ministries. He's in a hurry to fulfill one of his major campaign promises, which he didn't disclose. We are not sure which ministry, which campaign promise will be that. Further, again, he justifies the reasons behind the realignment of ministries is to enhance development or service delivery to the people of Zambia. In concluding, I should make mention that he has advised UPND National Management Committee leaders, whenever they sit, not to deliberate on issues or affairs based on the seats that were won by the UPND, but they should be able to expand their bases of knowledge or their base of knowledge in terms of how they can take care of Zambia in general, and not only the UPND won seats, but generally. So basically, these are the highlights that are coming from Parliament, rather, I beg your pardon, that are coming from a State House here in Lusaka. So this has been Innocent Phiri. If you allow me to say, may God bless you. Stick to the screen, because we still have more programmings later on.